Welcome to Nimbani. Hey, the gauntlet is gone. We finally caught up lore-wise to everything else. Where could it be?
Yeah, where could it be, Noah? We just don't know.
That kid's older brother came back and claimed it once again.
He's going to be the new Doom Fist.
Yeah, I agree.
Little kid with a giant fist. That might be pretty entertaining, actually.
That'd be awesome, yeah. But then, like, you get into all sorts of weird ethical situations where you're talking about, like, shooting this poor kid and stuff, you know, putting an icicle through his head. I mean, we know May is just pure evil anyway, but it gets awkward. That's what I'm saying.
Well, we'll see how awkward this map is, Noah, especially with LW Blue on attack first. Luna's on the Soldier, so we may be seeing the single support triple DPS.
We've seen it pretty much every time LW Blue's played this map in the recent past.
They really like it. They really like it.
It is worth mentioning, too, that Meta Athena has done things like running Nuss on the Genji on some of their triple DPS attacks. So you're right that this is a map where we've seen some pretty bizarre stuff from both teams.
Yeah, pretty standard from Meta Athena in what they're showing right now. I really like the fact that they're playing Roadhog, because if you're expecting the triple DPS to come through from LW Blue, it just gives you more targets to one-shot with hooks. So that's certainly an advantage that you can take right here. Flower going to be back onto the Pharah and coming around for the flank. We've seen these multi-prong flank attacks fail on this point from LW Blue before, even if they haven't lost the entire map.
It's still such a popular strategy to send the Pharah on the outside. He's going to go after a juicy Lucio target early on, but Hoon there to defend. Nuss goes down early, though. They lose their Ana, which is definitely going to be a problem. Sabi will be taken out pretty quick as well.
I mean, they really shouldn't have lost their Ana player, considering that they had a Winston to reposition, and they had a Soldier also on the high ground. So must have been a mistake there from Meta Athena on the defense. LW Blue going to be playing this a little bit conservatively, though, waiting for their reinforcements to come through. Looks like their Soldier is going to make a flank over to the opposite side of the halls.
It's going to try anyway. Luna pushed off. Staying down the bottom, they do kill Roar. Both Winstons, in fact, going down as LW Blue tries to get on the point right now. Luna trying to get to the high ground to take advantage of that tack visor. And Flower still untouched. And there it is, tack visor for Luna on the high ground. We'll see what he can do with it. Going down after Saya player who's on the run right now, turning on to Nuss. But that biotic grenade causing a lot of problems. Got hit with the sleep dart too there, I believe.
Killed by the mini diva. Saya player coming back in with the tack visor of his own. Nano boost charging him up, but he finds Flower on the backside.
Flower got two before he got a right click to death by Libero. Sabi will be coming in for the hopeful cleanup with the Genji. Gets batted away though by Alpha with that Primal Raging Winston.
It's actually a really clutch time to use that Primal Rage.
Definitely.
That's a huge play right there to keep him out and away from cleaning up the point.
Well, it's good to see Alpha back again, because we knew from the group stages he was already a solid tank, and he's showing it again to us already.
Well, you know, I wonder if part of this change, Della, was that they figured Alpha was better at babysitting support players, because that was their problem.
Certainly possible.
As good as Changshik was on the Reinhardt, the supports were going down a lot, and we've seen a lot fewer support deaths today as LW Blue going to be coming in with this sound barrier.
Yeah, both teams popping the sound barriers. Flower chasing down, self-destruct used. LW Blue on the point, though, still not gaining much control percent. They are getting the kills, though. And Gambler, or Chris rather, one of the only ones left. They swap colors, Monte Cristo. I hate it when they do that.
Just change your colors map to map. But LW Blue, interesting push, going all the way beyond the point and then doubling back as they got a few members of Meta Athena to chase them, pick them off one by one, and retrace their steps back to point A. So Luna will be switching off the Soldier 76 right now, back onto the Ana, typical from what we've seen from them in the past.
So in the end, LW Blue able to put together a successful attack. Get the payload moving. Looks like no swaps from Meta Athena.
Really interesting that both teams are staying on the Winston. Like LW Blue, I get it because you have the Primal Rage, but for Meta Athena, that's a bit of a question mark. Usually you'd see a change to Reinhardt here.
Yeah. It is odd. I mean, maybe they want to be the ones trying to get aggressive into the back lines, but they've got Libero still on the Genji.
Alpha was close to the Primal Rage and has it now. But this is going to be a pretty good hold, most likely, from Meta Athena. They should be able to keep them here in the early parts of the Streets phase. Let's see how they actually end up using these Primal Rages. Libero coming in with a Nano Blade, but there's nobody there.
Oh, we found Luna.
Could have been a disaster. Wasn't great, but
yeah, it's pretty bad for LW Blue though now to lose Anna at such an awkward moment. Gonna have to delay their push for a little bit longer now.
Flower.
Or maybe gonna change. He was McCree. Now then he changed to 76. Is he gonna swap again?
I think he's just waiting.
Doesn't
Okay,
look
Roar
like it.
finally going over to the Reinhardt here, but we've got another good stall. As long as the Primal Rage and the sound barriers are up, ATHENA's going to be able to hold this for a good long while, as they're just not going to be able to move the cart as long as the Winston is batting them away from it and staying on top of it.
It seems that way. Well, self-destruct landed in a bit of an awkward place. Probably trying to throw it over the bridge. Ended up on top of it. Alpha, though, being annoying from the upper levels. Now trying to prevent Deep from getting back in the suit. Wow, Mako does get the kill onto Nuss, actually, with the self-destruct, and Alpha going to have to pop the Primal Rage just to keep LW Blue off this payload.
I mean, not the best coordination there. You don't want to use that at the same time as the sound barrier because you're trying to prolong your push, right? So use the sound barrier first, then the Primal Rage. So small mistake, but it is going to cost them a few seconds here. Sabi will be back onto the Roadhog tonight, and Flower continuing his Soldier 76 ways. So they're going to set up onto the high ground. However, that was a huge hold at the start of Streets for Numbani. That was very well done by ATHENA.
You just don't see people holding the payload on the Streets phase in general a lot, and especially not early on like that. It's such a long run back for the defense, but they did it. Nano boost onto Hoon for the moment.
Not sure why they would do that. Saya player has attack visor ready.
It was very awkward. Meanwhile, Mako got nano boosted on the LW Blue side and similarly didn't really find a whole lot of success with it. So two awkward nano boosts.
Well, it's more understandable, I think, from LW Blue because Flower wasn't there with his ultimate just yet, and maybe you want to build up that self-destruct to zone them out, but
it just wasn't a great position to use it, you know? Libero, though, finding the kills. Wow, 3 of them. Who needs a Dragon Blade?
Thus, fortunately.
1v6 them, I guess. Oh, well, did I say 1v6? 1v5. The 6th one will get you.
Pushed a little bit too far there, but ATHENA may be holding LW Blue in Streets, which is something we almost never see on Numbani. I mean, offense has a huge advantage, generally speaking, from point A to point B. But ATHENA making it work. They're coming in with a raft of ultimates here for this defense, and they've nearly got the sound barrier up, too. As long as nobody gets picked off before the sound barrier is up, they're going to be in really good shape.
Speaking of picks, Sabi will be looking for that. He could really use it right now. Oh, but he gets chased off by a nano-boosted Hoon. Now Flower with the attack visor, looking for kills, not finding it because of the sound barrier on the ATHENA side. Libero pulls out the Dragon Blade. If he can get some kills here, they might be able to finish the hold. They don't need him to, though. The Sai player and Hoon get some kills, and ATHENA may get one of the rare street holds that we see every once in a while here on Numbani, and it looks like they will. Wow, LW Blue held to just a point on Numbani.
Man, you know, you see a lot of the full holds on Numbani because there is that defender's advantage coming through for the most part. But, I mean, coming into the Streets phase, we almost never see that. Like, the Streets phase is usually a gimme. So
you see it on point A and point C a lot, not point B.
That's very surprising.
That's got to hurt if you're LW Blue.
Yeah, especially because Numbani has been probably their strongest hybrid map, and they used their pocket strategy of triple DPS, double support, ended up cracking point A, you know, within a respectable amount of time, but ever since that point, they couldn't hold on to an ult advantage, and LW Blue ATHENA really outplaying them in the ult game, and that made a huge amount of difference.
I feel like we're seeing a bit of frustration from LW Blue.
How could you not be frustrated? I mean,
of course,
but
like,
one of your players is injured.
Just the way, though, that they just couldn't seem to get the team together for a coordinated push like that. Everyone just kind of sort of trickled in there quite a bit. You know, that speaks to communication issues, and that speaks to a bit of frustration, it seems like, in the booth.
I mean, ATHENA played that in a very different way than we're used to seeing them play it, too, which is they looked almost like Selfless from NNA in the way they were aggressively spawn camping LW Blue. And we don't see that from Korean teams, even though it has become more of a popular strategy in North America. And it can be effective because it can surprise you if you're not used to it, that you keep getting picked off as you exit your spawn, which means you have to wait another 10-15 seconds. And it becomes quite difficult, but ATHENA does it well.
Here we go.
Side player on the Widowmaker, though.
He was getting me so excited, man. They had the Mei. I was getting ready for the Mei boost.
I mean, we've seen their Mei Bastion pushes on this map before. Didn't really work out, so
it's something a bit more standard this time. It looks like
definitely going more standard, but still good high ground control. Question, actually, they're going low, and they're going into the back, so they're taking a long flank here all the way around the side into the high ground this way. Another meta Athena strat. Yep. How many times do we see people run through that way? Almost never is the answer.
We've seen this, I believe, before one time from them, and they are sending the Pharaoh on the outside to just drain death from above. Side player goes down early, though, and this one may not work out quite as well.
Well, Roar played that. Roar played that particularly well. So if you'll notice Libero's positioning, he's on the far side of the map shooting rockets over, but Roar actually covered off that upper hallway. They were ready for it, got in there, and the Genji dashed through everybody in that hallway pretty deadly. So Flower nearly gets a Dragon Blade off of doing work in those confined spaces on the second level, and that's going to cause a shift here for Meta Athena as they change Saya play over to McCree. They need that flashbang if they want to be in those tight spaces against the Genji.
Yep. Here we go again.
They're going low again.
Rate.
Wow.
Saya player on the McCree now, though. And they're just going to try to fight their way through here. Let's see if they can do it. Sabi will be up on the high ground, as always, has a biotic field to keep him healthy. That and a balanced diet and exercise. That keeps Soldier 76 healthy. Oh, and running away from Giant Apes, also a good thing to keep Soldier 76 healthy.
I mean, somebody's primal raging right now
yeah,
on the point.
Roar.
Looks like Roar.
Yeah.
And Flower keeping his Dragon Blade right now, not over-committing with it. LW Blue doing an excellent job of defending to this point. They didn't lose their cool on the high ground when the Winston and D.Va got up there. So I really think Meta Athena needs to try another approach. You can run onto the high ground with this composition immediately. There's not a Reinhardt. This is the play you want to make right here. Take over the high ground. Nobody's going to stop you.
Yeah.
LW Blue, they don't have a Roadhog. They don't have a Reinhardt to clog this point. So go ahead and set up camp up there. Switch to Reinhardt yourself if you need to, and just block it off.
Ooh, here we go. Sound barrier to try to stop this Dragon Blade from doing much. He's got the nano boost as well. Looking for the kill onto Chris. Can't find it though. Libero goes down. They trade 1 for 1. Sabi will be now in the back lines, chased away, but Chris actually taken out by the self-destruct. Pretty even fight across the board right now, but Meta Athena slowly losing ground here. They've got Hoon on the point, but I don't know if he's going to be able to hold on long enough for the rest of the team yet. He has to exit there.
Yeah, Libero also making a change. Now the Tracer coming through. Not sure that's exactly what they're going to find useful right now. Just a couple of tanks here, and not a lot of good targets for Tracer, and not a lot of ability to move unless you're on that low ground. 1 minute remaining. Okay, Libero now on coming through on the Genji. This is, I think, a better selection.
Now they have to make something happen now, though. Less than a minute left. LW Blue on the verge of full holding here on Nimbani, which after their pretty lackluster attack round, they could really use, as Hoon just fires down the corridor, giving his team time to get a little bit of control percent. Oh, but he gets desuited. Saya player with the dead eye. We'll see what he can pick off with that.
Nothing. I mean, he got really hurt down to sub 100 HP and then chased out by the defensive matrix.
Well,
so
he had to avoid the tac visor, too, coming in from Sabilby.
They're going to have one more push here, looks like. So it's not the end of the world. Nuss does manage to survive. However, I really think Meta Athena could have tried to play a Reinhardt and play the high ground here much better as soon as they realized that walking up through that hallway we see Flower staring at right now on the second floor was going to be a better option.
Yep. So, Meta Athena's last chance here. They got to make this push work. They're going to lose Nimbani, who nearly has that self-destruct as well, but he needs to stay in the suit. They're getting the control percent building. LW Blue waiting for their chance, and they're going to dive in now. Sabi will be pretty well protected in that hallway, and they take out Alpha early. Good start. Libero comes from behind with the Dragon Blade, though.
Doesn't get anything.
Yeah, gets shot full of holes, and Roar slaps him to death with the Primal Rage. Self-destruct comes in for LW Blue as well, and should be able to hold this. Moon popped out of the suit as well, and it looks like it's going to be a full hold for LW Blue. That's that. Yeah, they will win Nimbani.
Wow.